Very nearly about something, May 2025. My name is Paul. Welcome to the channel. There's a car. Oh, I could have gone the other way actually. Thank you. Dodgems. Right. Where was I? Where am I? I don't know. I'm following the sat nav. Anyway, as I say, my name is Paul. This is very nearly about something. This is May 2025. And I've actually done something on this channel I don't think I've ever done before, which is last month I said that I was going to experiment and go camping. And I actually booked myself. I've done it now. Oh, smoky here. I had 3 days camping, not very far away from me. Lovely little campsite, which I'll show you later, called Little Switzerland, just outside of Folkestone. Absolutely delightful. Thoroughly recommend it. So yeah, what we're going to do, first of all, we'll have a look at the bike loaded up to the gunnels. I literally put everything I could on it and it was fine. There's literally no problem at all. Then we'll have a look at the campsite, in particular the camping setup, because I think I've said before that well, there's a squirrel in the road. Is he going to give me a race? He is. They always do that. Why, squirrel, why are you racing? Because I'm going to win, unless he's going to put his mates on me. The biggest possible tent that I can carry, but no bigger. And then we'll have a better look at the campsite. I went off to a castle. Isn't this just beautiful here? This is literally 10 minutes away from where I live. You can have adventures anywhere. This is absolutely gorgeous. Just the other side of Lyddon Race, of course. Yeah, I went out to Scotney Castle. We'll have a quick peek about that. And actually what I'll do is let's do all that now, and then I'll cut back to this same ride, and I'll talk about what went right, what went wrong. Right, so all packed up and ready to go. And yeah, I know it looks like I'm going off for 3 days as a test camping trip, and I know it looks like I'm going off around the world forever, but part of it is to try and figure out how much I can sort of carry, so it's fully loaded, it's loaded as it can get. Let's just have a quick look at what I've done. I'm not going to go into any detail about what I've packed in particular, because it's not a sensible packaging. For example, we've got 3 days of scorching sun, and I've packed all my rain gear just to see if I could. So these are the Oxford panniers that you've seen before, and they've got a little grey insert to match the bike. When it was on the Honda, had a little red insert. Isn't that clever? I used to have bright red ones when I had a bright red Ducati, but it's so much cheaper to just change the plastic. Ultimately, I want to put the Royal Enfield aluminium panniers on there. I don't particularly like panniers, but they get taken off straight away, and also they're lockable. I went for Lomo for the this stuff. All of the tent gear is in there. So the tent, the ground sheet, the chair, the table, the sleeping bag, the sleeping mat, everything but the kitchen sink. That is literally just clothes and wash gear and so on. So if I wasn't camping, that bag wouldn't be there at all. There's a lot of, I've got a warm jacket, I've got my waterproofs. These are great. Again, I went for Lomo because, to be quite honest, they're very waterproof, they're very easy, they're incredibly cheap. This complete lot that I've got here was just over £100, including delivery. And I've got the Tusk, which I like, tank bag, and that's just for the bits and pieces that I need to sort of grab. So there we go. I mean, I did load this up and do a complete trial to make sure that I wasn't going to, you know, that it was actually capable of doing this. But this is one of the things about the Himalayan. It is a tractor, and it will need to be. I've got my stickers now. Trail Riders Federation, National Trust. I shall go out to a couple of National Trust places, and English Heritage. These are for castles. I like castles. These are for visiting castles, and I visit them so often that it's a lot cheaper for me to actually join. Right, the next time you see me, I will have set the tent and stuff up and deloaded the bike. Right, so as if by magic, I am here at Little Switzerland campsite. The Himalayan is there, the tent is there, the cookie stuff is there. This is actually the second day. I didn't film anything yesterday. I was so hot. One of the things I have learned is that I really need to get my layering system sorted out. I've got a pretty good idea of the sort of direction I want to go into, and if you have a look at the Wandering Honda video before last, they did a brilliant thing about layering on top of a mesh suit which is also abrasion resistant, and when I can afford it, I think that's the direction I'm going to go into. Yeah, food wise, I've just got one of these. This happens to be a fire maple, but to be honest, they're all the same, aren't they? If it looks like that, it probably does the same thing. And I'm using these things. I've got a Wayfarer, which I had one last night and it was fine. That's where it's all squidgy and so on already, and you just pop it in the packet in the boiling water. And this one's a freeze-dried thing where you have to hydrate it. I'm going to try this tonight. What is this? This is chicken curry. And that was cool. So I can make coffee, totally self-sufficient, slept brilliantly last night. It's a lot warmer than it's supposed to be for this time. I was going to take all the gear off, I've taken the front panniers off of the crash bars, and obviously I've taken the bags off that had the tent and everything you would have seen in the opening clip. I was going to take the actual panniers off, but it's a bit of a faff. I definitely think that I'm going to go in the direction of getting hard panniers that I can just unclip. And then what I'll do is I'll keep them in the tent, and you can get one of those things that you tie a dog leash to that sort of screw into the ground. Screw one of those in and then bolt it up. I've also got, I don't know what I've done with it at the moment, I've also got, because it's so hot, another long cable with a combination lock, and I can put that through the arm of my jacket. I always put the disc lock off. I always put the helmet up like that. But security is an issue. So anyway, I've already done a few things. I went and saw a friend who was running a music event in Folkestone yesterday, and that was quite good, coming back to the camp a bit later. Met a couple of guys who were using this as a staging post for the ferry, because it's actually quite close to Dover Port. And today I went to Scotney Castle, and I think this is all going to be edited out of order, so I can't remember. At some point I said, oh, let's go to Scotney Castle. But anyway, I'm not going to give much rundown on gear, equipment, what I've packed, etc., because this is very much testing it out to see if my health will put up to it. I've done just over 1,000 miles in total on the Himalayan, and I've done about 170 over the last couple of days. I'm not going to overdo it. Not sure what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm only going to spend 3 days doing this, but so far it's working out well, and I'm loving the actual camping bit. I can't imagine that all campsites will be as wonderful as this one. Right, see you later. I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee, I think, and then I'm going to make myself a, what did I say? A chicken curry. Look, it's even got a picture of chicken on it, so it's definitely chicken curry. That's how you can tell. Just add water, quick and easy, 8 minutes, one portion. Right, so how ideal is this? I did have some neighbours up there briefly. Nobody here? That's me. And then I've got a big wide space here. There are a couple of guys from Germany. A lot of people use this as a ferry stop. There was a Ducati, lovely Ducati park there, and a GS park there. One of them retired, one wasn't, and me and the retired guy were chatting about how nice it is to be able to do what we want to do. So this is just perfect. Right, so this is effectively the view from the cafe area. You can possibly see down the bottom there's the railway line going along there. There's a White House up there, which allegedly used to belong to somebody from Pink Floyd. Dover's, again, you probably can't see it, but there's just a bit of Dover sticking out there where I sailed into. And it's a bit misty, but France is over there, and at night this is lit up with boats because you can't see them all. And whenever it was 5, 6, 7, whatever years ago, I had the most wonderful sail because you can get, well, I'll explain it from 7 years ago. And I got very red faced because I didn't really know that sun cream ran out. Seas are slight to moderate, slightly in the wrong direction. We can live with that, so it is a little bit rolly, but that's all right. Wind is showing at about 12 knots at the moment. It's forecast up to 20, which would be nice to give us a push along, but we're doing 5.5 knots. That's absolutely plenty. Golly. A little bit of mist on the coastline, which is kind of going away. It would be nice to actually get some scenery because from Brighton to Eastbourne it was very, very misty, and I really wanted to have a good look at Beachy Head, which is a massive, great big sort of chalk cliff. So what am I going to do for the next few hours? I'm actually just going to enjoy the sail. This is really, really nice. I can see the sun's coming through. I have put sun cream on. I have now got sun cream that works as opposed to 10-year-old sun cream which doesn't work. Nobody told me the stuff wears out. Hence the very red face that you might have seen over the last few videos. And it's strange because this evening I shall be in Dover. The day after, a short pop round to Ramsgate. Literally just a few hours, and then arrange to get Serenity taken out of the water. So I'll obviously have to stay in Ramsgate a little while because I think I need a high spring tide, and it just kind of missed that, so I might be in Ramsgate for a week or so. And then take it from there. This is just absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. It's worth it. All the motoring, all that stuff, it's worth it for when this happens. And I think Serenity's happier when she's sailing in. And I'm garbling on, so I think I'll stop there and make myself a cup of tea. Speak to you later. Right, so unless you count the birds shouting, this is let's just stop and listen to the birds shouting. Very cute, except I've had that since 5 o'clock this morning. This is Scotney Castle. There's also a sort of stately homey type place and some gardens and things. I don't know if you can see on the right hand side, but it's all a bit dilapidated and fallen down, but that's fair enough. That adds to the charm. And there's a delightful boathouse over there, and there are a million walks, and it's a really busy day today, but there are hardly any people, which is absolutely amazing. Absolutely delightful. Come and visit Scotney Castle if you get a chance. I do like castles, and there's lots of castles in Kent. So there's a different view of it. Right, see you later. Right, well, very little went wrong apart from the fact it was very, very hot, and it's a real sun trap because you're kind of halfway up the White Cliffs of Dover, or sort of on the Folkestone side of the White Cliffs of Dover, and I need to get my layering system more sorted out. So yeah, I went to Scotney Castle one day, And then the next day I was so hot I didn't go anywhere at all. I basically went out for a walk. I went to the Battle of Britain Memorial, which is fascinating. It's literally, you walk up some very steep cliffs, wooden, and there it is, and there's a sort of a life-sized stainless steel, oh, I think it's a Stuka, a German aeroplane, another squirrel, or is that the same one? Did he beat me? And then there's a Hurricane and a Spitfire replica, a really tasteful memorial statue of an extremely young looking person staring out to France, because you can really see France quite easily from there, and a wall of remembrance with all the soldiers. I don't know if it contains the German ones. There's another Battle of Britain museum not very far away, and that does actually, that sort of commemorates the lives of the pilots on all sides. Thanks, by the way, for all your comments and people who read. Oh, that's big, isn't it? I shall go in here, discretion being the better sense of colour. Yeah, there's obviously lots of Himalayan fans. It is a bit of a Marmite bike, but for these type of roads, which I really enjoy, and you can see, hopefully, if the light is good enough, that you know, I'm doing 30 miles an hour because that's what's safe, and partly because I don't want there to be too much wind noise. You don't want to take your Ducati sports bike down here, do you? Probably not. Oh, that's very kind of him, very kind. But there is a van behind me, which I'm not sure you can see in the camera. So I'm going to be okay to get past. Not sure about the van, but good reversing. Thank you very much. Very good reversing. Friendly chap. Where you get places with little lanes like this, and I used to live in Devon in the UK a while back, people kind of get used to it, and there are certain protocols, and they do realise that reversing a motorcycle, unless it's one of those sidecar outfits that does have a reverse gear, reversing a motorcycle is not easy. I mean, I just love this. There's gravel in the middle of the roads, there's potholes everywhere. This is not off-roading, this is not a green lane, but you wouldn't want to take everything down here. You wouldn't want to take every car down here, let alone every motorcycle. But I just absolutely love it. Yeah, this is it. So this is an official viewing point. Look at that. Now you probably can't see this, but straight ahead there's a Martello Tower, and that's where I was camping, very close to there, just to the left of that. And this is Folkestone, and this is the Channel Tunnel thing. Did any of that video work? I don't know. But more importantly, in these side bowers and here, I've got enough to make myself some food and some coffee. Right, this is Zoom 4, and I've been here for an hour, but I haven't had a cup of coffee yet, and I'm not sure if I've got enough for a cup of coffee. This is my, I've just boiled up some water, and I'm actually going to have a pot noodle. And the reason that I'm not having a cup of coffee, probably, is because I was watching Rest Day Rider literally just yesterday, and Rest Day, she is a paramedic, Charlie I think her name is, and she did a thing where they went out to the coast, and their paramedic expertise was not called upon, but somebody had had a fall, had an accident, and literally just as I parked the bike up, I looked down the pathway a little bit and there was a bit of a palaver. I thought they were trying to put a dog on a leash or something, and I'm not worried about dogs because we've got loads of them. But a chap had actually had a fall and cut his head. I think he hit some branches because he was looking at the wonderful scenery. And I was literally just putting up my seat, so I said, look, sit down here, wait for the adrenaline to run up, to wear off. You don't want to jump up too early. His wife is a nurse, so of course he got literally no sympathy whatsoever from her, but very good care. And I gave him a cup of coffee, and I've only really just brought enough water for a cup of coffee and a pot noodle. So that was my good deed for the day. They've now gone off walking, and bizarrely they're actually walking to Little Switzerland, which is where I was camping for the last few days. Over there, again, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, that's the Martello Tower, which is right next to Little Switzerland. That's where they're walking to. This is the path along the cliff top. Down here, this is the freight part of the Channel Tunnel thing. The passenger part is a bit further over there, and this is part of the South Downs Way, and it's lovely. I can just sort of sit here and look out over Folkestone and look at the sea. So yeah, I've completely forgotten what I was going to do, or what I was going to say for this final part of the video, but it's been a huge success. Always carry a chair and enough coffee for two with you in case you need to become a bit of a temporary paramedic. He's all right, by the way. He wasn't concussed. We did all the checks and things. So always bring a chair. It's useful to be able to just sort of sit down. I'm now a lot later than I wanted to be because I do need to get back, but I haven't eaten. I do want to have my pot noodle. So I'm going to have my pot noodle, pack up, and that's that. But what a huge success this bike has been so far. I love it. Hopefully some of the footage came out and you can see the little lanes that I was going down. Absolutely perfect. Even when you sort of come across traffic and things, you can do a little bit of tiny off-roading, and I've got a byway to check out. So that was it for May. Don't know what I'm going to be doing next month, but I shall see you in June. Have a good one. Cheers. This is Paul, very nearly about something, signing off.